Well, at least she's running good. Just had a little minor incident here. Oh, I need to change this. Winter's project. I don't know if you can hear that on the camera, but listen. We'll get those changed out. But today, power steering. So this thing has been dripping pretty consistently, and I haven't been able to figure out what it is. Now, granted, I really haven't looked at the power steering fluid, but I have checked it at some point, and it didn't seem low. And then just this past weekend on our way back from a cruise, she dumped a lot of fluid at Micah's mom's house, and then as soon as I got here, I heard the pump start whining, pulled her in, and upon turning and trying to see what's going on, big puff of smoke, which tells me, you know, it's leaking somewhere. I believe I found the problem. So the bar off, get the belt off, and I should be able to pop off. Well, I'll have to get the fuel, get him off of there, but then I want to pull this off, verify which one it is. Yep, let's dig in and see what we find. All right, so the pressure hose is fine, but that's all right. I'll replace it anyway. If I'm replacing one, I'll do both. But it looks like this return line heading this way. Looks like it might have been on the, it was on the header. But I should be able to actually do this without really messing with anything. All right, so I guess we'll make this into a little bit of a, I guess, how to, I don't know. I won't put it under the Broken Grand Am series, but I'll label it so if anybody needs help with power steering, hopefully this helps. The lines anyway. I'm going to try to avoid moving the pump the best I can. If you do, just for the sake of conversation, to get the pump off is 3 13mm bolts. You have to rotate the pulley to get to them. You also have to get this out of the way, because you'll have to take off. You're gonna want to put something under the engine, you know, take your floor jack with a piece of wood, put it under the engine, and just put enough pressure, that way the engine doesn't drop. Because you're gonna wanna take off this top plate for your engine mount to get to the last bolt, which is actually right behind this bolt. You got 2 18s, and you'll have 2 15mm. That'll get your top plate off out of the way. You should be able to get to that bottom bolt. That'll get your power steering pump out of the way. So for the pressure line, 16mm wrench, do your best to get in there. And when you're messing with this, you're gonna wanna break this loose before you pull your pump off, just because it's gonna be on there tight. Not long ago. There it goes. Okay. Be careful not to round it off. Tuck a rag up under there. Alright. And the pressure hose does have a little O-ring, so make sure when you put your new one on, we'll make sure it's got a fresh one on there. On your return line is just going to be, as you can see here, 1 or 2 kind of hose clamps. It's literally just clamped on. So all you got to do is just undo the clamp and get it off there. Now in the case of my car, I've got my fuel pressure gauge here, so I'm going to have to pull that, and I'll get that return line off. Okay. There we go. Now be gentle, because you don't want to break your power steering pump and cause you some more headache. Be ready with. Alright, so this is going to apparently empty in my hand here. Hopefully I caught most of it, although we've been leaking for a while. Drip. Oh, you're going to drip. Don't drip over there. Drip off to the side somewhere. We'll just wrap this bad boy for now. because this is pretty much all the work up top. Majority of what's going to happen is we're going to have to get underneath and probably drop the cradle to get to the lines on the rack, which are over here. So let me get her up in the air and we'll continue. All right, in we go. It's still freaking dripping. All right, so get some reference points in here. So up there is where the lines come from. This right here is the return line. Okay, so the one that's screwed in on the pump is the pressure line. That comes down, as you see right there sticking out of the rack, that's the pressure lines on the bottom. It's pretty easy to get to that one. I did spray it down first. As you can see, my car isn't rusty, so a little bit of an advantage, but so far that's all I've done. So what I'm going to do next, I think, to help my case here, is I'm going to yank, well, I'm going to pull that line all the way down here and try to twist that out of there, because as of right now, as it stands, I have it out, but it's hitting the other line. But I'm also not able to get to the other line to try to move it. So it appears that what we're going to do is kind of take apart. So I'm going to get that pressure line out of there. Right, then I should be able to pop the other one loose and take it out and get this off of here. And then when I go to put everything together, I'll do the return line first and then the pressure line. Try to record as much as I can, but probably not gonna be the best since fighting here. But bonus part is I can work right here. So something while I'm sitting here thinking about it, this is going to be obviously a lot easier for me since I have an automatic, because right here on just about anybody else watching this, you're going to have your automatic transmission is going to be this entire space filled. But as you can see, I'm still working through this spacing right here, and you'll have that same space. I'm going to keep pulling this. I'm trying to hold the end so I don't spill it everywhere. But my thought process here is I should be able to... Alright, so by me doing this, I'm already seeing it kind of start coming out of this little hole there. Like I said, space is a issue right here. Alright, so I'm going to grab the 10mm. Put that right there. Won't lose it. All right, so, woo! Got kind of aggressive and it came out. But it is something with me twisting this, because it like popped it out this way. Now, to figure out how to get it down and under the, oh, hey, keep twisting. So I might have a helping hand up top, because I'm actually taking it up towards like back up towards the engine to get it out from underneath the downpipe and everything. Alright, so about halfway up, the steering rack itself has like a little plastic clip. You're going to want to undo that. Alright, the whole thing should come right off. Alright, there's our pressure line. So a little clamp was holding us up. Now that's out of the way, let's try to get the return line. I would assume the return line is also an 18. Alright, where are we dripping now? Okay, yeah, just above is the return of the other line. So let's see what we can do here. So for this one, I'm having to go above it. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to do that same thing. Alright, yeah, see, I was able to break that loose. So this one, I'm going to try to pull through. I'm going to go fish the other line down so it's down accessible. Seems like everything's going to come right above that. Looks like everything's going to come through right about here to be able to remove it. Again, I'm able to cheat gently Nice and easily pull these lines out of here. So that should be the hard end. And then this side, let's see. Oh yeah, it was almost my mouth. Okay. Looks like it does a lot of twisting coming out of there. Oh, it's my mouth again. Ew. Alright, well, I'm gonna put this up here so I don't forget where it goes. It's still dripping on me. That's still dripping on me. It's all dripping on me. Ah! Alright, so you just have to remember the top goes in first. It is the return. And then gotta finagle the pressure line. So now we wait for parts. Alright, so damage report. A little melty. So right there is where the massive leak was coming from, and that is the return line. But since I had to pull the pressure to get the return off, I went ahead and ordered both. I'll save the old pressure one, but here's our new return deal and the new pressure line. Now what I will say is I went with a non-big name because the big names weren't crimped like this. They were actually hose clamped. They expected you to put a piece in and hose clamp it. I really wasn't a fan of that. So I went with this one. And I got it quicker. Well, back under here. Got a little extra light up top this time. So first one to go in is the return. Make sure install little O-rings they give you. Maybe a little bit of lube on there. Just kind of feed it in. So kind of feed it in. So I know he's got to go way up there. Ooh! Actually go up top and finesse it, but let's just get it to where it's out of our way here. And then start feeding this across. Had to go under everything. Where you at? So I put the O-ring on that one for now. I'll wait for that one until I get up top. Now back to this, because find a better route going back in maybe. Remember, we had to do the whole twisty. Alright, we're back on top. So got the lines good and secure. I've got them running where I want them. I didn't take anything else apart up here, so we're good with everything else. So far I did top this off once and spun this. As you can see, taken quite a bit so far, so I'm gonna add some more. And I'll show you guys what I do here to at least start bleeding it. Okay, now this was a brand new quart, so we'll see how much it takes, since pretty much everything was drained. I do have it all the way up the top again. Now when you guys are doing this, you don't do it the way I do. You can start the car. It's better with the wheels up in the air too. Start the car. You know, monitor it. Make sure it doesn't drop too far below, because the goal is to try to get the air pockets out. If you let the level drop too far, you'll start reintroducing air. So the goal is to keep the fluid level up as high as possible. Alright, so I've got the system where I believe it's full. So we'll go ahead and put the belt back on and give her a start. So what you want to do is, with it running up in the air, after you get it filled, you're going to want to run the steering wheel back and forth to get all the air pockets out. And it's going to make quite the racket there until you do. you hear the famous power steering whine until it settles in. Back on. So I'm gonna go ahead and start her up, leaving the cap off so that the air can escape. And the goal is to, I'll show you when we start, it's gonna be really milky. That's all the air escaping. And don't forget to check for leaks underneath. I guess we'll find out as soon as we start her up. So fire. Oh. Wow, I made quite the mess. Alright, well that was a rookie mistake. Make sure if you take your fuel line off, put it back on. Funny thing is, I caught that on camera. So let's put this back on. Alright, so smell fluid because, yeah. The goal here, if you're literally gonna turn this, oh, that's full lock to full lock. All the way one way, all the way to the other. Should be really foamy. Yep. So I might actually end up taking some out of there because that might be too much. I think I put about half a quart in there. Actually doesn't look too bad now. And so all you're gonna do is just keep doing that until you don't hear the noise anymore. You may still hear a little bit, so when you give it throttle and then do it, actually let's try it real quick. I'm gonna give it just a little bit of throttle and see if I can get it to make the noise. See if you guys can hear it. Nope. Alright. So there's a good chance, apparently, that there was still enough fluid in that pump. It didn't run too dry. Little frothy, but nothing crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and probably call this. Good. Put everything all the way back together. Like I said, I'm gonna siphon a little bit out there and get it actually to where it wants to be. Put her back straight. Put her down. Good stuff. All right, so yeah, there you have it. And I guess it wasn't really a good how-to because I had to do mine a little. I had to cheat a little bit with mine, where most of you guys aren't gonna be able to reach into that area where I basically don't have transmission, right? So just keep in mind, you guys have that automatic. It goes all the way across underneath the engine. So your transmission is not only here, but it's all the way across. So me being able to get up in there and manipulate it was a bonus. But hopefully it gives you guys an idea if you have to do power steering lines, because that was a little more on the difficult side. It was definitely testing my patience. But you see, we got her done. Get her back on the road and get this season finished out. But as always, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.